start making our pavlovas for our dessert today. And I have here some very simple ingredients. I have egg whites, sugar, a pinch of cream of tartar, but you could also use white vinegar instead, and cornstarch. So I'm going to turn this on and get my egg whites until they're nice and foamy. It's going to take just a minute or two until the egg whites start to create a foam. And then we want to take our egg whites until they form soft peaks. This dessert's going to be really fun. We're going to do a pavlova with a cheesecake mousse and fresh strawberries, fresh from the market here on the east coast of Korea. And it's going to be super tasty, very simple, and easy dessert to do at home. Take just a few minutes until we get this to the soft peaks of our egg whites. And then we're going to begin to add our sugar. And that's the most important part of this whole process. We need to make sure that we're adding the sugar very, very slowly, a spoonful at a time. Okay, so when we get our egg whites to soft peaks, let me show you. You don't want these to be too firm, but you need a nice soft peak like this. Once you get them to soft peaks, that's when we're going to begin to add the sugar. So we're going to turn the mixer on high, and we're going to slowly rein in the sugar. Very slowly, a spoonful at a time. I like to pour it in, but I'm also trying to be very careful. You can also take a spoon like this if you feel more confident, and just rein in 1 tablespoon at a time. What we're trying to do is get the sugar to dissolve in the egg whites so that they're nice and smooth without a grainy texture at all. So just 1 spoonful at a time. Don't rush it. You'll be sorry if you rush it, because your meringues won't come out really beautiful. Okay, so that's ready, and that took us a full 5 minutes to add that sugar, but it does seem like a long time, but it's going to be worth it in the end. And now I'm going to mix my cream of tartar and my cornstarch together, and I'm going to add this mixture to my meringue. So I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top, and then I'm going to fold it in. And I want to be careful not to deflate the egg whites. I want it to still be nice and fluffy. But one thing the good news about adding the sugar very slowly is when I take a small amount and I rub it between my fingers, I can't feel any graininess, and that's the key to making a great meringue. I'm almost ready to plate these meringues now. And here on the baking sheet, I've placed a piece of baking paper. But I don't want the baking paper to move around, so I've got a little technique. I just take a little bit of meringue and put it on the tray, and then secure the baking paper on top. So a little bit of meringue here, right here, on both sides. Now my paper won't move. And I'm going to move it, and then what I like to do is create some nice peaks and domes. So I'm just going to take that spoonful each time and place it on the tray. But the most important thing is that we have a little divot in the middle so that we can fill it with our cheesecake mousse. So this is going to be a strawberry pavlova with a cheesecake mousse, of course using California cream cheese. And we're going to have these beautiful crispy meringues, cheesecake mousse, and marinated strawberries, which we're going to use the local strawberries, which are going to be so good. We're going to bake these at between 95 and 100 degrees, just until they're totally dry and crisp. And the way that I usually do that is I do it for about an hour and a half at 100 degrees. 95, 100, depending on your oven. And then I like to leave them in the oven until they completely cool. Okay, and so we're ready to take those and take them to the oven. We're using local strawberries from the east coast of Korea. It's perfectly in season. And oh, they're so fresh, they smell so delicious. We're gonna serve those with a cheesecake mousse made from a California cream cheese, California whipping cream. So pretty exciting. And we'll put it all together in a pavlova, an egg white meringue. So this is gonna be really delicious. Let's have a look. We've got cut strawberries here and some sugar. And this is just a really simple way to make a coulis, a pureed strawberry sauce. So let's make sure the lid is on, and we're gonna turn that on. So it's just as simple as that. It's ready to go. Just we want to taste the natural strawberry. Look at how gorgeous that is. We want to taste the natural strawberry. We don't want to be tasting too much sugar or too many fillers. So this is just going to be perfect the way it is. So let's make our macerated strawberries. Actually, these strawberries are so delicious. They're right from the field. They're organic. And so we don't really need to worry about doing too much to add to them. But what I do want to do is create a little bit of a sauce, just a saucy sort of shiny strawberry for the top of our dessert. So I'm going to cut these into quarters, and I prepared some in advance, and we're going to mix those with a little powdered sugar just to give them a shine. So we'll put some powdered sugar on top, and we'll just toss them and set them aside. And you want them to be nice and glossy and shiny, which is why the powdered sugar works really well. Here we go with our California cheesecake mousse. We have really nice cream cheese from California. We're going to turn it on and make sure it's nice and soft. Once that's smooth and creamy, I'm going to add my white chocolate base. So I can see it's nice and smooth and creamy. And I previously made a white chocolate base. And this is white chocolate and a heavy whipping cream mixed together with a little bit of sugar and vanilla bean. So we're going to add that to the cream cheese and mix it really well. And I've got a little bit of lemon juice to give it a little bit of a nice acidic tang. So we're going to whip that until it's beautiful and smooth. And what I recommend to do is actually scrape down your mixer a couple of times during the procedure because we don't want any lumps in there. So we'll scrape that down really well. Now that that's nice and smooth, at this point, we're going to fold in our heavy whipped cream. So this is our challenge cream. It's a beautiful product. Look at the nice color, bright white. And so we're just going to fold that right in to make a delicious cheesecake mousse. So it's quite simple. A few steps, but we're going to end up with a gorgeous dessert at the end of all of this. So here we have our cheesecake mousse ready to go. All right, we're ready to plate our dessert. So I'm going to explain my pavlova first. This is just a very simple meringue, egg whites and sugar that has been spooned onto a baking sheet, and we left them in the oven for about 45 minutes at 95 degrees. And then we turned the oven off and left them overnight. So they're quite dry and crispy. And just to make them look a little chic, we're going to add a little grated strawberry on the top, just to make them look quite pretty. And we're ready to plate. Okay, so we're going to put a spoonful of our strawberry coulis in the bottom of the bowl. And then we're going to add our meringue. And just be careful, it's very fragile, but you want to make sure it's placed on the bottom of the dish. And then we're going to put a scoop of our delicious cheesecake mousse. We'll put that right in the middle. And make a little dent because we want something to hold those strawberries. So we just create a little dent there for our beautiful fresh strawberries. Okay, so now look at these, how gorgeous and glossy they've become. And we'll go ahead and put those right on. And don't worry if some fall down onto the dish. It's an old chef's trick that if some fall down, then make it look intentional by dropping a few more around. So now that we have that all ready to go, I'm just going to add a few little fun elements. One is I have a beautiful Turkish cotton candy here. So I'm going to just put a few strands of the Turkish cotton candy on the top. We have a cute little addition, and that is a cow-shaped strawberry cracker. And we're ready to eat our gorgeous local Korean strawberry California cream cheese pavlova.